Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's going on? Time to get rowdy. I am back, guys. This is Tuned In Live. You are live with host Michael Campbell. Good to see you all here. Glad to see you all here. It is September 22nd. God, September has already flew by us. Holy hell. And that's the part of the year where all the good holidays are going to come and go just as fast, so I recommend you guys slowing down quite a bit and enjoying yourselves for these next 3 holidays that are coming up. One of my favorites is Halloween, of course. That's always been one of my favorite holidays. As a kid, my favorite holiday was Christmas, of course, because when kids growing up, kids love Christmas, they get all those new fancy things and shit like that, for Christmas, all those new toys, video games, and such. But for me as an adult, I'm a big horror buff. I love horror movies. I love playing horror survival games and such. And Halloween, the month of October, that's my favorite month of the year, because of all that stuff. Time to play some scary games, time to watch some scary movies and shit. It's just that time of month for me. It's my favorite. And of course, the movie Halloween. This is not going to be a reboot. It's actually a sequel to John Carpenter's 1978 version of Halloween. It's going to be a direct sequel to that. So when that comes out, also happy 40th anniversary to John Carpenter's Halloween. What a spectacular movie! That movie laid out the ground rules for all kind of different slashers that have come and gone. Laid out the ground rules. Laid out the slate. The foundation. That's what I was trying to think of. The word. Michael Myers. John Carpenter laid out the foundation for a lot of good horror movies out there. Halloween was the foundation for the slasher genre. I mean, the slasher genre was already enabled by movies like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and movies that came out before that, but Halloween really cemented it for the slasher genre. And then you had slasher movies like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and of course Texas Chainsaw Massacre continued its massacre through several different sequels, only getting worse and worse, of course. So yeah, John Carpenter's Halloween is coming out next month. 1 month away. Can't wait to see that. So far, from what I've heard from the critics, it's really good. It's the Halloween that you're anticipated for, that you're expecting. Even some people said it raised their expectations to a whole new level. So it's that good. And I know people are out there gonna be like, oh, another Halloween movie. They're gonna garbage. It's gonna be garbage. Well, there was one of our fans who thought John Carpenter's vision was garbage. He was all over Rob Zombie's version. I'm like, look, I love Rob Zombie. I love his vision. I love his music. I love his movies. But Halloween wasn't the best. He did a pretty good job with it, with his vision of how he wanted it to be. The sequel to that was garbage, of course. I actually went to theaters to see that. That was... I don't know what to think of that. And also, recently, Bane and I, we recently saw The Predator. The Predator. This movie was very anticipated for the time. People have been waiting for a true Predator movie to live up to the first two. Does this movie actually deliver? Sad to say, no. It misses it by a shot or two. It's like a par. I don't want to say it's a par. It's like a boogie, basically. If you're playing golf. What's up, Graves of Rocks? How you doing, man? You heard the Rob Zombie's Halloween was Yes, well, Rob Zombie's version, the first one was decent. It was pretty decent, for its time. Rob Zombie did a pretty decent job with Halloween. Halloween 2, however, the sequel was garbage. I went and saw it in theaters, and even rewatching it on TV when it's actually, playing on TV, it's like, God, it doesn't even feel like a Halloween movie. It just feels like something, it's something completely different. But this new Halloween that's coming out, I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. Hopefully, it's going to be as good as everybody says it's going to be. Because there's a lot of people out there that are confused with the timeline with the movie. Okay, the timeline has been completely corrupted and screwed up since Halloween 3. Well, actually, since Halloween 2. Because, John Carpenter thought, how can you make a sequel to Halloween? Because that's how he wanted it to end. And, of course, people were wanting a sequel. They wanted to know a little bit more to the story of Michael Myers and Jamie Strode, or no, Laurie Strode. I'm getting the fucking names mixed up here. Jamie Lloyd is the daughter. Jamie's the daughter. Now, Laurie Strode's played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking Jamie Strode. But then again, in Halloween 4, it's Jamie Lloyd. It might as well. It should have been Jamie Strode, but I don't know. And of course, Halloween 3, as I said in past podcasts, Halloween 3 was supposed to turn Halloween into an anthology series. It was supposed to go in a whole new direction, which I kind of liked. They should have went with that, but people were pissed off that, oh, the first 2 movies had Michael Myers. Why doesn't this one? Well, it's supposed to be something different. And people, didn't like it, and they're, oh, okay, let's return back to the original formula. So Halloween 4 came out, and of course, people went and saw that. They said it was great, it was fresh, it was new, it was something different. Halloween 5 is when it started going downhill. Halloween 5 was actually rushed. That came out the year after Halloween 4. And then Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, that comes out 6 years after Halloween 5. And of course, that one, a lot of people hate it. I found it to be one of my favorites, in a way, because it still has that terrifying atmosphere to it. It sort of feels like a Halloween movie, but it's not a Halloween movie. But it's still pretty decent. I'd recommend you guys trying to find the director's cut for it. There is a director's cut. It's very rare to find. You can find it online if you're able to torrent it or whatever, if they still allow you to do that. I actually have the director's cut, which is the original cut that was screened to an audience and critics, and they hated it. So they had to do some last minute changes to the movie, and of course the actual release is what you all got. I mean, it was still pretty bad, but some people actually grew a cult following for that movie, and the director's cut is one of the ones that everybody's wanting to see. And it's that rare. You could probably find it on eBay, but you really need to open up your wallets, and you need to have a deep wallet for that, because the director's cut is very expensive and very rare to come by. And then, of course, H2O came out. Pretty much rebooted it in a way. It rebooted, brought Jamie Lee Curtis back into the role, and it took place 20 years after Halloween 2. Well, Halloween, actually. It took place 20 years later after the first Halloween. First Halloween came out in 1978. H2O came out in 98. Now, Halloween 2, yeah, that was a direct sequel to Halloween, but that movie came out 3-4 years later. But it was a direct sequel right after that. So you figure H2O, 20 years later, it was decent for what it was. It did not live up to John Carpenter's original version, his original vision, and I don't think anything will. And then, of course, Resurrection came out. Resurrection to me was garbage. Yeah, I'm sorry. Resurrection was garbage. It tried too hard to be something and turned out to be nothing. I mean, you got comic reliefs in there. You got fucking Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes in there. I mean, come on. That was bad in itself right there. And it was just cringy. The dialogue was very cringy. The characters, you did not care about these characters at all. They were all cliche. They were all dumb, except for maybe one character that was actually there. But other than that, Resurrection was garbage. And of course, Rob Zombie's Halloween. He did a revision of it. Now, when it comes to Rob Zombie, I love his particular vision. I love his music. His music, he has that gothic horror feel to it. Kind of like Alice Cooper, like Marilyn Manson, shock rock, if you call it. It's like shock rock. I like his vision, especially when he does his music videos. The way he does the way the music videos are, his vision of that, it's just something about it that I like. And then he brings it to the big screen. You know, movies like House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, The Lords of Salem, all that stuff. Even the most recent 31. He has a very unique vision when it comes to filmmaking, and he brought that to Halloween. And he turned Halloween, yeah, it's still considered a horror movie, yes. But he had a different vision of it, and it was pretty decent. I'm not saying it was great, and I'm not saying it was bad. It was a decent reboot / retelling of John Carpenter's work. And then, of course, he did the sequel, Halloween 2, and like I said, I went to the theater to see that. And the only good thing that I got out of seeing it in the theater was a couple of cosplaying people who did a part where it was like the first 15 minutes into the movie. And spoiler alert, I mean, even if you haven't seen it, I mean, this is expected. There's a scene at the beginning that takes place for like the first 10-15 minutes where Laurie Strode's in a hospital and she's outrunning Michael Myers. Well, during that, and I was sitting in the back of the theater, and I happened to see one of the exit doors up by the screen open up and somebody come through. And I didn't think too much of it because I just saw the door opening. I thought maybe, you know, one of the employees were coming in or going out, you know. They usually do that. No, there was this woman dressed in a white hospital gown, limping up the aisle, and there's this guy dressed up as Michael Myers coming after her. And that was just the coolest thing I've ever seen in a movie, you know, in a movie theater, where somebody was cosplaying, you know, that actual scene right there. And it actually had some people terrified too, because they see him coming up the aisle. People are starting like fucking scoot 2 seats over toward the wall, out of the way of the aisle. It was just hilarious. But that's the kind of thing you don't see in movie theaters nowadays. You know, that's the kind of thing they need to bring back, is interactivity with movie theaters, especially with horror movies. It makes it more fun and entertaining. Yeah, if movie theaters did that today, they need to. They used to do that back in the 1950s and 60s. Like William Castle, he was a big director back in the 60s with a lot of horror movies, especially like House on Haunted Hill and stuff like that. And there was one other movie called The Tingler, where they had seats in the theater rigged up to vibrate and move, and they had something flying across, you know, the movie theater on string during the movie, and they're like, the Tingler, it's loose in the theater. The only way you can defeat it is if you scream. It's they need to do something like that. If they brought that back, you know, teenagers today, you know, wouldn't be so bored when going to a horror movie. You know, when going to the movie theater, you know, it'd be the most talked about thing. It's something that needs to be brought back. You know, it was absolutely fun. You know, people need to do that now. But yeah, with this new Halloween coming out, don't be fooled. This is a direct sequel to the original 1998 Halloween. So Halloween 2, all the way up through Resurrection, never existed in this timeline. And then, of course, somebody also pointed out in a review I saw recently on YouTube, they were like, okay, in the Halloween franchise, you got 3 Halloween movies with just the title Halloween. You got Halloween, Halloween 78, Halloween, I think it's 06 or 07. Let me look that up. I can't remember when Rob Zombie's version came out. You gotta go to old Wikipedia. Let's see. Halloween franchise. Halloween came out in 07. Okay. So you got Halloween 78, Halloween 07, and now Halloween 18. Halloween 18 takes place 40 years after. It's a direct sequel to 1978's Halloween. So 40-year lifespan. That's a pretty good lifespan. 40 years. So just remember, next month when you guys pop in that Blu-ray or DVD, or somebody old school pops in that VHS of Halloween, just remember, It's been 40 years. What's up, Cypher Xavier? Welcome to the show. People would whine. You know that thing called political correctness? Yeah, that's true. Somebody would get offended if something went flying across the movie theater. They'd be running out saying, I want my money back or something. You know, people get too offended. We'll save that for another episode. But yeah, what's going on, Cypher? So yeah, when this Halloween comes out, I'm definitely going to see it. I have high expectations for it. Critics are saying it's real good. So far, Rotten Tomatoes have given it like a 90-some%, I think it was. And some other critics out there gave it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, saying that it's that good. And I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. I'm not expecting it to be the best thing since sliced bread, you know. I'm expecting it to be that good. You know, if it's going to feel... I want it to feel like a traditional Halloween movie. I want it to feel like the original 1978 version. If it gives me that, if it gives me what I want, then I'm going to love it. And I'm hoping for it. And then plus, for it to come out in October around the Halloween season, that's just perfect right there. That's like when the Saw movies came out, you know it's Halloween when Saw's out, you know? Remember that tagline? Every Halloween, there was a Saw movie. I mean, of course, the storyline kind of got weaker and weaker as they went on, but what are you going to do? God, speaking of which, I thought they were supposed to be making another Saw movie, like restarting the whole thing. They just had Jigsaw come out, 2 years ago? I thought they were going to make another one. I guess not. I mean, the stories are pretty weak. I mostly watch them for the kills and all, but I do enjoy the story. I somewhat enjoy the story, I should say. I somewhat enjoy the story. The characters, you know, they're like them or hate them. You know, they're there. They're going to get killed off, whatever. You know, some big puzzle's going to happen, and it's going to be like some big twist in the end. And you're like, oh shit. And that's why I pay attention to movies like that. But moving on from Halloween, I do want to quickly say, I know a lot of you haven't seen The Predator yet, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I will say I left the theater with mixed feelings. It wasn't a bad movie. Let's just say that's not a bad movie. It didn't really bomb. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's sort of in between. It's like, take it with a grain of salt, I would say. I went into this movie with expectations of it being real good, because I heard that it was kind of went back to the feeling that the first two Predator movies had. I mean, of course, they do have the original soundtrack in the movie from the first one, you know, which is good. You know, it made you feel like you were watching a Predator movie. They're like, oh yeah, just in case if you forgot, they play the song like you're watching a Predator movie. Oh yeah, thanks a lot. I'm waiting for Schwarzenegger to pop out from a fucking tree or some shit. Every time you hear that music. But just to see the new Predator, you know, I mean, of course there is a new Predator. You see it in the trailers, you know, he's like fucking 10 feet tall, and it's like, oh shit, how do you defeat this guy, you know? To me, it felt too much like a militarized movie than it's a sci-fi movie. It's a sci-fi action movie. I wouldn't really say it has any horror elements to it. I mean, you could probably consider it a sci-fi horror, but to me it's sci-fi action. But I felt kind of empty. I felt like a lot of the plot lines went a little too fast. Some things were explained a little too fast. Actually, there was some moments where the editing was very poor. There was some pretty poor editing throughout certain scenes in the movie, and some things didn't really make too much sense to me. But other than that, it is an enjoyable film, you know, for the action sequences. I wouldn't really say it's edge of your seat kind of thing, which is something that a lot of people like to go for. Wasn't really kind of edge of your seat, but it was kind of enjoyable, and there is some comic relief in the movie, of course, and some of the actors in the movie, I will say, I was kind of shocked to see them, and then there was a couple, you know, actresses in there that I knew was in there, but I was like, how are they going to play this out? So, get a rundown on the cast here. Olivia Munn if you are unfamiliar with who Olivia Munn is, she is a former co-host of Attack of the Show, which aired on Tech TV, G4 TV, a few years ago. She's a really hot actress now. Gosh, there's like a couple roles out there that she did where she's like completely nude. I'm like, yeah, I gotta find those movies. Oh, damn, she's actually supposed to be Psylocke in the new Dark Phoenix movie, which comes out next year, which is a kind of like a spin-off of the X-Men series. But yeah, she was in Attack of the Show for the longest time until they were canceled back in 2010. But she does star in this film. You know, she has an alright role. And I also did see Jake Busey. He's in there too. And what's ironic about his role is Jake Busey is the son of Gary Busey, and Gary Busey was in Predator 2. So that's some pretty fun trivia for you. You know, Gary Busey was in the second Predator movie. His son is in this movie. And then, of course, you got Thomas Jane. I like Thomas Jane. He plays a military veteran who suffers from Tourette syndrome, and his role is kind of comic relief in a way. And of course, there's some other people in there that I did notice, like, you know, some familiar faces, but I couldn't get their names. You know, I couldn't picture their names with who they were. But other than that, like, okay, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 34%. So yeah, it's not that great, but it's not that bad. Now they're saying there's a possible sequel. The producer John Davis said that the Predator will set up 2 sequels and hopes that Shane Black will come back to direct them. About this, Black said, "I would love to say we are planning a trilogy, but I take one day at a time. In motion picture terms, that's one movie at a time." So this movie, I don't think it really did that well. I mean, if it did well in sales, if they made back what they put out, that's good, you know. But I guess it depends on what the people want. People want a really good Predator movie that focuses on the universe, whether it would be the movies or the comic books themselves. But we shall see in the future. You know, the Predator is out now. Thank God it's an R-rated movie. They were thinking about doing it PG-13, you know, because they did Alien vs. Predator like that. And trust me, Alien vs. Predator, it was alright. It could have been a lot better. I think they downgraded the violence and all from that movie to, you know, just dumb it down for, like, the family experience, you know, family-friendly experience, you know. PG-13, oh, let's let the teenagers in to see this movie. But we'll dub down the violence, we'll dub down the gore. And that's what those movies are not about, you know. Alien movies, the Predator movies, they're gory in their own ways, you know. When you dumb something down, it's gonna be bad. It's definitely gonna be bad. Just like when Venom's coming out here soon, and it's a PG-13 movie, by the way. And Venom's supposed to be R-rated. Venom is supposed to be R-rated. What the fuck are you doing, Sony? Sony Pictures, okay, Sony Pictures, Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures is owned by Sony. So, with Marvel being a subsidiary to that, of course, because Venom is owned by Marvel, I guess they feel, well, all the Marvel movies are PG-13, we want to be family-friendly, so da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, okay. But even the director now is like, oh, when the movie comes out on Blu-ray, we're going to have an unrated Blu-ray. Now we shall see. I mean, are they going to add more scenes to it that is supposed to make it feel like that Venom experience? But we'll have to wait till next year when it comes out on Blu-ray, because it comes out next month in theaters. Blu-ray probably won't come out till about February. I'm guessing right now, February, maybe March. So, moving on from movie news, let's move on to some video game news. Now, if you read the title of the stream, which is The Many Mistakes of Sony and Nintendo. I'm going to start with Nintendo. Because recently Nintendo has had a couple fuck-ups. I don't know if I want to say fuck-ups, but hiccups. And one of the biggest hiccups is, well, they're both related to the online, the Switch Online. And I should have another article here on my Twitter. But there's just so much I gotta go through. God damn, never mind. Well, first of all, Switch Online already. It's been up for about a week. It came up this past Tuesday. And people sign up, for the subscription service. I think it's $20 a year for Nintendo Switch Online or Nintendo Online or whatever it's called. And apparently, from what I'm reading, there is an emulator on the Nintendo Switch. Apparently. There's my main man, Wolf. What's up, man? Welcome into the show, buddy. So apparently there is a Nintendo emulator on the Switch that you can download. That, or it's an emulator that Nintendo put on there just so you could download and play classic NES games. Well, within the first 24 hours, the Nintendo emulator online was hacked. Oh, Telltale, yes, I will get to that. I'll definitely get to that in a little bit. Let me see, Nintendo Switch hacked one. I gotta find this article. Oh god, yeah, it's already been hacked. This was 1 day ago. Nintendo Switch Online has already been hacked to add new NES games. Just hours. Oh, I know, man. But Telltale, yeah, like I said, I'll get to that in a little bit. I'll actually cover that after the Switch, and I'll talk a little bit about that and why, what happened. It was just, that was a sudden thing. So, just hours after launching Nintendo Switch Online, the brand new Nintendo Switch Online service has already been hacked. Granted, Microsoft and Sony have been hacked in the past. Granted, and they've worked hard. They've worked real hard over the last few years to implement new security measures and firewalls to their service, so now they can't get DDoSed, they can't get attacked. Anything that happens on the servers, somebody's got to be like a goddamn good FBI-like hacker, or maybe the servers go down for whatever reason. You never know. But Nintendo didn't take to those measures, apparently. Apparently they didn't learn from what happened with Sony and from what happened with Xbox. So, here we go. One of the key features to Nintendo Switch Online is the ever-expanding library of classic NES games when you can play online with your friends. Unfortunately, the launch lineup is rather paltry, with a couple highlights and a bunch of filler. And so it won't surprise you to learn that by Tuesday night, the NES library was hacked. Shortly after service went live Tuesday night, a modder goes by Cappuccino Heck. Okay, I'm surprised I was able to pronounce that. Cappuccino Heck on Twitter discovered that the database file for the NES games library lists them all in plain text. So apparently in the code or the database file when he hacked it, had the coding for all the games, but Nintendo wasn't putting them out there yet, I guess. I guess they laid out the blueprint for it, but they were going to work little by little on putting those games out. Basically, that's what it's saying. Which should make it a trivial for anyone with a modicum of skill to add their own games to the system and play them through the app. About an hour later, Kappa shared a short video of Kirby's Adventure, which isn't one of the official NES titles in the online service, running flawlessly on the Switch. He was unable to change the box art and had to reuse the art from River City Ransom, an official title, but says that this experiment proves fully custom games are possible. Another example comes from a YouTuber, DevRin, who demonstrates Battletoads running on the Switch. I would highly advise against anyone doing this, as I've been told that there's a lot of data from the app being sent to Nintendo, and that it has a fair few legitimacy checks that occurs at random. So apparently, anybody hacking it, anybody doing anything with their service online, Nintendo is always watching. And Nintendo's always watching everything. Come on. Like, look at last 2 years, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, someone uploaded all the Nintendo Power magazines online for people to access and read them. That was phenomenal. That was a popular magazine that came out in the late 80s. You know how many people wanted to read those magazines all over again, relive those memories. And of course, Nintendo catches wind of that, and like a week later, Nintendo shuts it down. Nintendo's always watching shit, they're money-grubbing, money-hungry gluttons. So, even if you know how to hack your Switch, that carries a great deal of risk that you could endanger your account. Yeah, they can always suspend your account, delete your account, whatever. So, someone's already hacked it. Nintendo, get on top of your shit now. You gotta get some good firewalls in there or something. You gotta do something, guys, because this is not looking good for you, Nintendo. Your console is being hacked already. People are finding ways of uploading games, doing this, doing that. That definitely looks bad for you. So Nintendo, you gotta get on the roll, guys. You have to get a firewall or something implemented for your service. Now, another thing dealing with Switch Online, this is a big fuck you to a lot of people. Now, when it comes to these online services, let's start with Sony and Microsoft. Okay, Sony has a subscription service called PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus is now $60 a year. What do you get with PlayStation Plus? Well, it's required to play online with your PlayStation 4. Now, you don't need it. If you're still online with PS3, you're not recommended to have a PS Plus account to play online. PS3, you can play online for free. But with PS4, they're up to par with the Xbox. So you have to pay to get the online service. Plus, in the store, you can get discounts. You can get free games a month. So you can pretty much build up your library. Same thing goes with Xbox. Well, Microsoft does a lot more with their subscription service than Sony does, with PS Plus. Games for gold, you get discounts, you get free games, you get free game trials on the weekend to try. Plus, you get Microsoft Rewards. Microsoft Rewards is when you purchase a game, when you take surveys, you do little stuff with their rewards app. You earn points, and those points build up, and you can get rewards from them. You can get gift cards to any name brand store, restaurant, or you can rebuild your Microsoft currency and get another game, That's something that Sony has never looked into. And now you got Nintendo Switch Online with their online subscription service, They're getting into the game with Microsoft and Sony. So they're like, okay, well, Switch Online is going to be $20 a year. $20 a year. Okay. What games can you play online with the Switch? There's very few. Now, one of the big games that's coming out soon that everybody's going to be wanting to play online with each other with is Super Smash Brothers. Oh, I forgot about Sony Rewards. I forgot about that, man. That's also too. I think they're a little bit different than Microsoft Rewards. But yeah, I forgot about the Sony Rewards program also. Thanks for reminding me of that. I don't know if Nintendo's going to do anything like that. Oh, damn. Sinuses are starting to clear down in my throat. So, Switch Online comes out. $20 a year. Okay. They figure it's going to be cheap. And with Super Smash Brothers coming out later on this year, not as good as the Xbox Rewards. Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, Xbox Rewards has better deals. They have a lot of better deals and this stuff when it comes to the reward system. But yeah, Switch Online, apparently, when you save games, okay, I don't know if you could save them directly to a memory card on your unit. I'm pretty sure you can. But with a lot of people, let's say your Switch goes up, and you don't want to lose a save for your game, you could back it up on their cloud save, their cloud storage. And that's what a lot of these companies are trying to do now, is like you can upload your stuff online to a cloud storage system under your account. Well, guess what? Nintendo's fucking you hard in the ass. Switch Online will apparently delete your cloud saves when your subscription ends. Don't forget to pay, or you might lose your save games. Although the much requested cloud save system is coming to Switch, there's apparently a pretty big catch. If you ever stop paying for an online subscription for your Switch, Nintendo won't hold onto your save data and it will be deleted. According to a fact page on Nintendo's website, save data stored to the save data cloud cannot be kept outside of the duration of your Nintendo Switch Online membership. Nintendo then adds, if you keep your save data stored locally on your Nintendo Switch console, then you can use it again if you purchase another membership. So, if you keep it on your console, you're good. You're safe. But let's just say your system is ready to overheat, ready to fry, ready to go up, ready to be set on fire or something, because apparently the Nintendo Switch has overheating issues. It's been known to warp in the docks. It's been known to explode, well, on a couple occasions from what I heard, but it's easy to overheat the console. You know, it's a very thin console, you know, with the screen on it. So you're going to have some issues with this console. It's known to happen. And will it happen to you? No, possibly not. But it's been known to happen to several people. And let's say you got your saved games on there. Guess what? You can't access them anymore, because you got to get a whole new console. That's why the cloud save system is there. So you can upload your save games to the cloud. You could buy another console, or maybe you want to play on your buddy's console, and you could just pretty much upload your profile to it, grab your save file from the cloud, and continue your save game anywhere on any Switch. That's cool. That's fine. But what Nintendo is saying here, if you do buy a subscription, it might be your best interest to keep your most important game data saved on your console, because if there's ever a problem with your subscription payment, you're going to lose your saves. It's also worth noting that not all games will support cloud saves. Oh, that's perfect. You make a system that's not does not work for all games. That's amazing. Like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Splatoon 2. So depending on what you play, you might not be able to completely rely on Nintendo's online storage to begin with. So you put a service into play, but it's not compatible with all the titles you put out there. That's funny. I find that funny as shit. Nintendo online membership can be continuously maintained through automatic renewal. All subscriptions will renew automatically unless you select the Terminate Automatic Renewal choice in your account information settings. Renewal rates are determined by your latest online membership purchase. If you buy 3-month membership and then buy one for 12 months, your account will automatically renew for 12 months. Yeah, that's how it's done on Sony and Microsoft. They do the same thing. The fact page details a few other clarifications from the other services that relate to Nintendo Switch Online membership. If you're playing in an online party with a group, when using voice chat, you won't be automatically added to the voice chat group. You'll be asked beforehand whether or not you want to participate in the group's voice chat when you first join the party. Also, you will need one online membership for your family of Switch consoles, provided all the consoles are linked to the same account. So Nintendo is playing a very tricky role here. And I don't know if a lot of people will like it. I don't know. You know, Nintendo they're trying to do an awful lot while they got the lube, while they got the Vaseline sitting on the side, you know, they're lubing it up and like, you want some you want some Switch Online? Yeah, you want to play that? Yeah. Here comes the sexy stud, Kinky Kelly. You want that online? Guys, it's gonna cost you. Oh God. Thank God I'm not. Yep, Bend Over Consumer. That should be the name of their service. Bend Over Consumer. That should be the name of their negative service right there. The Bend Over Consumer. The BOC, the BOC. It's the Bach of Nintendo. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Wolf. You came up with a great idea, man. Wolf. Yeah, there you go, Wolf. You are copyright case, sir, on that. There you go. Wolf copyright case, sir, that statement. Nintendo, you are the Bach of Nintendo. Copyrighted K by Wolf. Copyright K, sir. Wolf Fang. You know what? You sign up for you're gonna sign up for Nintendo Switch. You are the Bach of Nintendo. Oh shit, the Bach. Oh, it's got to be capital BOC. You are the Bach of Nintendo. Copyright K, sir, as of this date, September 22nd by Wolf Fang. That is pretty good. That's how I feel the online service is with Nintendo now. This is a Switch Online. You know, you lose your save data. It's being hacked. All this extra shit. You know, the way Nintendo is, you are the Bach of Nintendo. You're going to be the Bach of Nintendo. Oh, shit. What are y'all doing, guys? I mean, come the fuck on. And, moving on. We do have some cancellations. Yeah, these are, things that are not going to happen anymore. I'm going to put the biggest one off, right after this one. This one I want to talk about. Now, I've been a fan of the Dead Rising series for quite a while. Dead Rising 1 and 2 were pretty difficult games to play, but they were really fun. I mean, what other game can you play where you can just wander around in an open area, like a mall, you know, and then like Dead Rising 3, the streets, you know, you got several buildings and all, a big town. Same thing with Dead Rising 4. You can run around a big open area, thousands of zombies. I'm talking, God, the console can hold this amount of data when loading on the screen at once. Thousands of zombies. Let's see. I am not going to bother getting the Switch Online either when Nintendo decides to stop being greedy whores and make it free to users and make the cloud better. Not having our data. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And unless there's a way you can back your saves up to like a memory card, I don't know if there's a memory card optional slot on the console. See, my brother owns a Switch. I've played the Switch. It's nice. It plays nice. I like playing Breath of the Wild. I played Doom on it. Plays really good. I don't know if it has an optional slot for memory card. If that's so, I would say get a memory card, pop it in there, save it, and there you go. Because at any time, with the way these consoles are, and these are the first generations of the Switch, so anything can happen. The game, you know, the console could overheat, could warp, anything could happen. Even if you watch Boogie2988, he said his Switch has cracked itself. So there's some cracking on the sides of it as well. There's a mini SD card. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Just back your stuff up on a micro SD card. That way, if anything happens to the console, you still got your saves. And that whole thing with the online service. And of course, that's how you got to be able to play your friends online, is you need the online subscription service. You're paying $20 a year for it. I'm like, okay, if that was fine. And like, okay, well, I can't renew my subscription service next year or next month. I'm going to have to wait, get some money. And then your subscription service cancels, and then guess what? Your game saves are gone. That's ridiculous. You know, they've completely gone in the wrong direction with that. Or flash drive. Yeah, flash drives work too. But I don't think the Switch has the Switch is too thin to have a USB slot in it. Now, it makes sense if you got like an Xbox or a PlayStation, yeah, because they have USB slots. You can just put them in there and back them up on a flash drive. That's what I did with like PS3 and PS4. But yeah, with Dead Rising, I enjoy playing those games. However, recently, Dead Rising 5 apparently was getting ready to go into production, or they were working on a production of Dead Rising 5. Dead Rising 4 actually came out about 2 years ago. I love that game. I loved it to hell. And I was like, I can't wait for Dead Rising 5. Well, it's been canceled. Capcom Vancouver, Capcom's office in Vancouver in Canada was shut down this week. Actually, that came out on the 18th. Yeah, it was shut down this week. It was shut down Tuesday, I believe. Development on Dead Rising 5 has ended as Capcom prepares to close its Vancouver-based studio, responsible for both the Dead Rising series and the Puzzle Fighter for mobile. So if you play Puzzle Fighter on your mobile device, yeah, don't expect another one. I guess maybe not even updates for it as well. The latter of which unexpectedly had its support ended early after launching in late 2017. Dead Rising 5 first surfaced via leaks. There we go. I can't read the shit. Last year, and it was confirmed to be in development by Capcom this spring. Initially a third-party exclusive for the Xbox platform, the series expanded to PC and PlayStation 4 this generation due to the larger player bases on other platforms. We didn't love Dead Rising 4, and we're hopeful that the leaks about Dead Rising 5 ignoring it in canon and not being as rushed were true. I don't think Dead Rising 4 was rushed. I love Dead Rising 4 for what it was. It was really fun. It was real fluid. It was much easier to play than the other ones were, and I enjoyed it. That was actually the first and only Dead Rising game I honestly beat. I could not beat the first one. Second one I'm actually working on. It's actually pretty tough. The third one I thought I beat. Then there was like one last boss after that. I said, fuck it. I beat it. I'm done. But 4, I enjoyed 4. And I can't wait to get back into it and play it again. In the official statement on Tuesday, Capcom confirmed that... couple more topics. Yeah, I got some more topics coming up. Yeah, definitely for Telltale right after this one. Let's see. Capcom confirmed that they canceled the in-development projects at Capcom Vancouver. Capcom has been focused on increasing the efficiency and growth of its game development operations. To support this objective, new R&D facilities and annual hiring has been underway at the Osaka headquarters. In consideration of this process, as a result of reviewing titles and in development at Capcom Vancouver, Capcom has decided to cancel the development projects at this studio and will concentrate development on major titles in Japan. So basically, fuck everything over here in the US and, well, the North American region and probably over in the UK. Fuck them, they're going to go work on something in Japan, basically. As in their press release to investors on the subject, Capcom confirmed that the cost of canceling the projects and for severance for 158 layoffs at Vancouver. They'll be taking a 4.5 billion yen loss. 4.5 billion yen. Let me convert that. 4.5 billion yen in American dollars. Let's convert that. So we're talking $39.9 million in American money. So 4.5 billion Japanese dollars. This is Japan. Their currency is different than ours, so don't let that fool you. 4.5 billion in Japanese yen, which amounts to $39.9 million in the US. That's a lot of money. So that's pretty much what they're taking as a loss right there. So they're losing out on close to $40 million and 158 layoffs. Scientists using stem cell research to bring back dead to life. Only PS2 and PS4 can be downloaded for PS Now. Oh yeah, I will get to that. Okay, yeah, definitely. Wait a minute, Stranger Things was canceled? Yeah, I gotta look that up, damn. Holy shit. I haven't even watched the first fucking season. I gotta get caught up on that. Well, we'll read that after, well, actually, you know what? That was the, Telltale one. Okay. I thought it was a show. But yeah, thanks, Wolf. I will definitely cover that, next. So yeah, some of the losses to Capcom have been migrated by Monster Hunter World outperforming expectations on all platforms. So even though they're dealing with losses from, Vancouver, Capcom is still making up for those losses with Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is one of those biggest... That's one of the biggest games right now that Capcom has until Resident Evil 2 comes out. A skeleton crew will remain at the studio until January 2019 to finalize closure operations and logistics. Back in April, Capcom Vancouver was already put on this path with 30% layoffs at the point of time, and Kotaku reported that it had another untitled third-party action game prototype that was shuttered. Dead Rising had a pair of live-action films adaptations made for digital service, Crackle, but the IP failed to grow or catch on lately. Looking back, Capcom Vancouver may have been a decent fit for the Microsoft series of developer acquisitions for Xbox earlier this year and announced at E3 2018. It would make a sense for them to solidify Dead Rising and relaunch as a new IP, but then again, they do have the co-op zombie franchise State of Decay now entirely under their umbrella. Sad to say, no more Dead Rising. I'm going to miss them. But there will be Dead Rising 1 through 4. There will be that. And then, of course, as Wolf has been patiently waiting for me to cover this, yes, Telltale Games has closed their doors within the last couple days, sadly. If you guys are unfamiliar with Telltale Games, they first came out back in the about the mid 2000s period. They released some games like one of them was like World Championship Poker on Xbox 360. That was one of their first games, but they revolutionized themselves when The Walking Dead Season 1 came out back in I think it was like 2011 or 2012, somewhere around there, when The Walking Dead was very big on TV. And Telltale, they announced a few other games under their belt. Telltale Games revolutionized gaming with storytelling. Their games had very riveting and mind-blowing storytelling with quick-time events. It was more than just a game. It was an experience. It was like playing an interactive animated movie. I would say, that's how I feel Telltale Games were, and they had a lot of good titles under their belt over the last I want to say about 6-7 years, and I've played them all. Every Telltale game that's out there since The Walking Dead Season 1, I have it. I have all the Walking Deads, Back to the Future, The Wolf Among Us, Guardians of the Galaxy, Minecraft Story Mode, Game of Thrones, all of them. I have all the Telltale games. So now, sadly, Telltale announces majority studio closure. Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and other series fate unknown. This came out yesterday. Telltale has issued a statement in which it confirms fear that the studio is at least partially shutting down. It does not address the specific fate of its games, only saying more details will be shared in the coming weeks. It reaffirms that 25 people remain at the studio for the time being, but it's not unclear. Well, it is unclear how long they will be employed. The full statement follows. Today, Telltale Games made God damn, I had a stuttering moment. I can't read. I must be still tired. I gotta go to work in about an hour or so. Jesus. Alright, so rereading this. Today, Telltale Games made a difficult decision to begin a majority studio closure following a year marked by insurmountable challenges. A majority of the company's employees were dismissed earlier this morning, with a small group of 25 employees still on to fulfill the company's obligations to its board and partners. CEO Pete Howley issued the following statement. It's been an incredibly difficult year for Telltale as we worked to set the company on a new course. Unfortunately, we ran out of time trying to get there. We released some of our best content this year and received a tremendous amount of positive feedback, but ultimately, that did not translate to sales. With a heavy heart, we watch our friends leave today to spread our brand of storytelling across the games industry. Telltale Games will issue further comments regarding its product portfolio in the coming weeks. The original story behind all this. Telltale Games, the studio behind the acclaimed episodic adventure games based on a range of popular licenses, including The Walking Dead and Batman. I forgot about Batman. I got both the Batman ones, too. I forgot about that one. Oh, and Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park had one, too, many years ago. Has been hit with another huge wave of layoffs. News of the layoffs emerged via social media, but as former developers announced they were no longer employed at the company. It is currently unclear if Telltale has shut down or completely, or will remain operational with the reduced workforce, but it appears a significant number of developers have been let go from the company. Telltale itself has yet to publicly comment on the layoffs. According to a report at Gamasutra, Telltale has released all but 25 out of 250 employees who remained at the company to finish the remaining episodes of The Walking Dead, the final season. So, as of right now, they said The Walking Dead Season 3, which is the final season that they're working on, all episode 2, just to put everybody's mind at ease, episode 2 will release next week, one time. So next week, episode 2 of the season is going to be released. It's already been worked on. It's already been put together. It's coming out. Now, they did say it's not going to be completed, that's going to be the last episode, but from what I'm reading here, if it's true, if it's a possibility, I mean, there's still 25 employees left with Telltale Games out of 250 employees. Mind you, okay, about a year ago, I'm going to get to that too. It's actually down here at the bottom. So apparently they've been laying off people over the last 2 or 3 years. They've been getting into so much financial trouble. And of course, you got to figure, and I've watched this on YouTube last night, and it makes a lot of sense. Look at all the games that they have made, ranging from Back to the Future, which was, owned by Universal, Batman, which is owned by Warner Brothers, The Walking Dead, of course. I mean, they did that. They're owned by AMC or whoever the hell they're owned by. So when it comes to a company like this, when they want to put a big game out like that people are going to enjoy, they have to buy licenses for these games. They have to have the license in order to further continue on with making the game. That's like when you put together a Grand Theft Auto game and you want to put a soundtrack in there, you have to buy the licenses for whatever songs you want to put into that game. Let's say you want to redo Vice City and you want to have I Ran by Flock of Seagulls playing on the radio all the time, which means you would have to buy the license from the producer, the director. You have to, whatever, let's say it's recorded by Sony Studios. Let's say they recorded the song at Sony Studios and Sony owns the rights to that song. You got to buy the rights to that song in order to put it into your game and use it. And of course, those licenses are very expensive, and depending on how long you have the license for. Like recently, Grand Theft Auto 4, they just lost the license, or they had to renew a new license for the soundtrack for the game and completely alter. So, same thing goes with these games. When you want to make a game based off of something, you gotta buy the license. You gotta buy the permission in order to make a game off of this. And apparently, they bought too many licenses for too many products that they want to make a game on, and they weren't making a whole lot of money back from those games. So, what ended up happening? They end up owing a lot of money, and they end up going under, and then they end up laying off their employees. So right now, they are down to 25 employees at Telltale Games. But right now, it's a 50-50. It's teeter-tottering. They're saying that these 25 employees are going to remain at the company to finish the remaining episodes for The Walking Dead, the final season. So it's possible we could still get episodes 3 through 5. We could get those last episodes that'll continue that up, and this being the very last game from Telltale Studio. Kevin Brunner, a co-founder and former CEO of Telltale, has published a blog post commenting on the news. Today I'm mostly saddened for the people who are losing their jobs at the studio they love. And I'm also saddened at the loss of the studio that greenlit crazy ideas that no one else would consider. I'm comforted a bit knowing that there are now so many new talented people and studios creating games and evolving narrative genre. While I look forward to those games and new developments and continuing to contribute, I will always find a Telltale game to have been a unique offering. This isn't the first massive wave of layoffs to hit the company. In November 2017, Telltale laid off 25% of its workforce, which they amounted to about 90 people. So back last November, they laid off 90 people at Telltale. According to the press release, the company shared the following that news. This reduction was done in order to make the studio more competitive as a developer and publisher of groundbreaking, story-driven gaming experiences with emphasis on the high quality in the years ahead. Telltale announced a number of projects in July 2017, including the aforementioned Wolf Among Us 2. That was originally planned for a release of 2018, but it was eventually delayed to 2019. Following the November layoffs, the studio had also announced developing a game based on Stranger Things, but it appears those projects have now been shelved. News of these layoffs comes shortly before the release of the second episode of The Walking Dead final season, which is scheduled to launch on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC September 25th. 2 additional episodes are still planned for the series. We don't know yet what the news means for the previous announced release schedule. The same is true for those games it's responsible for publishing, such as The Stranded Deep, which just as yesterday announced will launch on PS4 and Xbox One in October. So, with these 25 people left to do one last project before they go on, so they're going to do at least 2 more episodes, 2 additional episodes. Maybe they'll close it out in 2 additional episodes. You know, The Walking Dead, you know, whether it be 4, 5, 6 episodes long, they're still working on it. It's going to be something. It's going to be something great. You know, I mean, it's going to be a great end to it. We shall see. So, you know, it is very sad news to hear of a game company like this, a big developer who's been in it for so long, and they made so many great games. It is heartbreaking. You know, not just to gamers like us who play and enjoy these games, but it's heartbreaking for those who make the games, who have worked on them, so many hours put into those games, making them, the voice acting for everything, and they've had a lot of fun doing it. That is heartbreaking. Now, I mean, on the good side, there are still, you know, there's still other developers out there, still companies out there that are willing to take them in. Because, you know, these employees, these people who worked here, you know, they've worked here for so many years, you know, they have so much potential, you know, to do something great at another, you know, at another studio, at another company. And they see this. So there's a lot of people out there on Twitter yesterday that were reaching out saying, hey, we got some openings over here. If you need a job, come on over. We'll take you in. So that's great. They still have a job. But in the end, it's still pretty sad, you know, a developer like this, and at all of a sudden, for it to happen, it's like, I was waiting for, you know, these episodes of this game to come out, because this is one I've been anticipating. You know, I love the story of The Walking Dead, and now to hear that it's abruptly ending, and it's, yeah, that's good that they're still going to have a job, yeah. You know, they'll be making some good money off of doing that stuff. Oh, God, there was something else I was going to say. I done forgot what it was. Oh, yeah. Reason why they've been going under. And I heard that last 2 or 3 years, they've been going through lawsuits, They've been having a lot of financial troubles in the past, and those are that's the kind of stuff that will cost you a company, that will cost you employees, to make a company fold under. That's the kind of stuff that'll do it right there. When you have a lot of financial trouble, and it's always the stuff that's behind closed doors. It's always behind the scenes. The gamers, a lot of times, not a lot of gamers really care about what goes on behind closed doors. They figure, okay, this company's going to release a game. It's going to be good. I'll buy it when it comes out, So you buy the game, you enjoy it, but how many gamers out there actually give their full support to the developer, to the company that makes this game? Not a whole lot of people actually respect it, or respect them for making the game. And then something like this happens, and then everybody gets together like it's the end of the world, I mean, yeah, it's the saddest thing. Just like, I'm grateful to live where I live. I live like an hour away from Bethesda Studios. Literally. Well, maybe not an hour away. It's less than an hour. Let's just say I could take a couple highways up, to Rockville, Maryland. And it's right there. Bethesda Studios. Wolf and I, yeah, me and you, Wolf, we live in the state where Bethesda Studios... It's amazing. The company that makes the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout, that's, in it with id Software to make Doom and Wolfenstein, all these great games. We live in a great state where all these games are made. And that is awesome. I could definitely say that. Just imagine, like, if tomorrow somebody came out and said Bethesda had to file for bankruptcy. They're closing down in 2 months. Let's just say something like that happened. You know how devastated we would be, but not just us, but so many other gamers across the world who play a Bethesda title. I mean, can you imagine how devastated everybody would be if they closed their doors? Oh, God. And I think, like, growing up, our parents and other people, it's always said that video games are more for kids, it's a kid thing. I don't think so. Video games have evolved to the point where anybody can enjoy them. Anybody can enjoy them, even adults. Anybody. And it's more than just playing a game, picking up a controller and then playing it. It's more than that. It's an experience. It's like watching a movie. It's an interactive movie, But that is sad. Here's another thing that's shutting down, though. And I could see this happening because Twitch is still a heavily dominating streaming service. And I read about this the other day. YouTube gaming is shutting down. If you are not familiar with YouTube gaming, apparently it was a brand new streaming service started up 2 years ago by YouTube to compete with Twitch. And then, of course, Mixer came out. I done forgot what Mixer was before it became Mixer, but yeah. Mixer is a thing for, it's strictly a streaming service through Microsoft. And then you got Twitch, that's really dominating, the stream market. But YouTube gaming is shutting down. Live streaming has changed the gaming landscape in many ways. It's caused many online personalities to blow up overnight, and is often cited as a possible nail in the coffin for single-player games. Twitch is well known as the top dog when it comes to the live streaming platforms, but others, like Microsoft's Mixer, have existed for almost as long. So Mixer has been around, I want to say, for about 2 years or so. Twitch has been around for so long. Twitch has been around, I don't even know when Twitch first came out, but it's been around for many years. YouTube's answer to Twitch, however, will reportedly be retired in March of 2019. The company announced that it would shut down their dedicated gaming platform in a post uploaded to their official blog earlier today. This was on September 19th. Originally launched in 2015. Oh, I thought it was 2016. It's 2015. The website was intended as a competitor to Twitch. While bringing many different innovative features, YouTube Gaming failed to garner a large enough audience to justify its continued support. YouTube will instead offer a new home for fans of live stream content, youtube.com/gaming. The new page will still include many of the features fans enjoy from the original app, as well as bringing some new impressive features based around the community engagement and discovering new creators. Still, whether or not YouTube will be able to compete with Twitch in a meaningful way is a big question. At the time of writing this, Fortnite is clocking 80,000 views on YouTube Gaming, while Twitch is pulling in a much more impressive 140 concurrent views. So, almost twice the views on Twitch as opposed to YouTube. While there are many factors that could be affecting the views, including how the new YouTube page is, it's obvious that YouTube still has a long way to go if they wish to grab bigger portion of the gaming audience. YouTube has been in the news a lot over the last few years, largely due to the growing pains. They have a history of regularly putting copyright abusers ahead of actual content creators for fear of legal action being taken against them. While not all fears are unfounded, many of the platform's creators have expressed their desire to find alternate ways to reach their audiences. YouTube is currently in uncharted waters for the entertainment industry, but changes to the platform has been frustrating for almost everyone involved. Hopefully, youtube.com/gaming will prove to be a step in the right direction. I believe YouTube is failing miserably for a lot of reasons. And I give you one of the reasons myself, okay? I'm not looking to monetize any content that I put out on YouTube. You know, anything I put on YouTube is really a pre-recorded stream. If I do a stream, you know, let's say this stream right now, this episode of Tune In Live, it's going to be up on YouTube later tonight. Am I going to make any money off of it? No, I'm not going to monetize it. Even if I played some Metallica, if I played Guns N' Roses on here, and I know it's all copyrighted material, I'm not doing it to make any money. You know, it's just entertainment. It's something backed up. People are going to be listening to it, you know, later on after the show, you know, if they missed today's episode. I'm not going to be making any kind of money. I recently put a couple compilations up on YouTube. And of course it has music on there. Did I monetize it? No. I'm not making any money off of it. You know, I put it there because, you know, I like watching it myself and my friends like watching it. So what? YouTube decides, oh, it's blocked in other countries because of the music. I'm like, why? I can find these songs anywhere else on YouTube. I could pull up I Ran by Flock of Seagulls. I could pull up the music video for that. And it'll play. It's not blocked, so why is my video blocked in other countries if I have the audio in my video? But if I look up a music video that has the same song in it, why is that not blocked? Why is that playing? I don't know. YouTube's going downhill, you know, over a bunch of shit. Yeah, that's right. It was Beam. Mixer was Beam before that. I remember that. And I'm like, what the fuck is Beam? And then I switched to Mixer. Yeah, YouTube gaming. They tried to hit their mark, but it didn't go anywhere. Here's another thing. If you are on PlayStation 4 and you're looking for a good Battle Royale game, if you're tired of the fucking Fortnite shit, guess what? Supposedly, PUBG is finally coming to PS4. Yes, Twitch is still the king of streaming. That's why I'd rather be on Twitch. After PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds became worldwide phenomenon on PC, smashing various Steam concurrent user records in the process, Microsoft was quick to secure it as a console exclusive for the Xbox One. After spending quite a bit of time in early access, the game that popularized the Battle Royale genre Had its full release earlier this month, but now it seems it's making its way over to the Xbox One's main competitor, the PlayStation 4. A Twitter user by the name of Nibble spotted PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds listed for PlayStation 4, suggesting that an announcement could be right around the corner. If PUBG is in fact making its way to PS4, it will likely skip the early access period. PS4 lacks a comprehensive early access program like PC and Xbox. If you are unfamiliar with the early access aspect, if you're unfamiliar with what early access means, basically, when they launch a game on a console, okay, you pay for the early access. Let's say PUBG was $30. Okay, pay $30 for the game. During that time that it's in early access, they're going to be putting patches out. They're going to be putting updates out for the game to make it much better than what it is. They're basically testing the game out. You're playing the full game, but they're testing it out. You're not going to get any achievements for it or whatever. It's not a demo. It's not really a beta. It's the actual game, but it's incomplete. And over the period of time that you play it, they'll be releasing patches and updates to make the game much more better with the gameplay, with the graphics, the audio, everything. And then when they pull it out of early access as a full release, that means they have fully fulfilled their job, made it a complete game. There should be no problems, no errors, nothing with the game. So that's when they take it out of early access. And the best thing about that is, if you buy a game in early access, when it becomes a full version, you don't have to worry about paying for it again. You already pay for the game. The game's yours when you first buy it. So, let's see. It will likely skip the early access period, or it will be available in early access for a shorter time than its Xbox counterpart, at least. Of course, this is just speculation at the time, and it's hard to say definitely what PUBG's plan for PS4 is without more further information. As for when PUBG could be announced for PS4, there are multiple opportunities in the coming months. It's possible the game could be announced at PlayStation Experience in December, or if not, it could make an appearance at the Game Awards. Alternatively, PUBG could be announced for PS4 without any special event, especially since the game's popularity has somewhat waned compared to what it was over a year ago. Considering how much Microsoft invested in the Xbox One version of PUBG, some may be surprised to see evidence that the Battle Royale game is possibly coming to PS4. However, developer Bluehole has never been shy about its intentions to bring PUBG to every platform possible. Potentially, this could mean that we could one day see the game make it to the Nintendo Switch, as well as future game consoles. In the meantime, it will be interesting to see if there's any substance to this, and if PUBG is really coming to PS4. If so, fans should be able to expect more information in the coming months. Right now, PUBG is available on iOS, Android, PC, and Xbox One. That will be interesting. It definitely will be, because there has been speculation for almost a year about PUBG coming to PlayStation, possibly. And now that it's left the early access and it's doing really good, and Sony can see how well it's doing on the Xbox One, maybe they'll test it out and they'll be like, okay, it's coming out, we tested it, it's going to work. Watch, as soon as they release it on PS4, they're going to have all kind of issues. People are going to be pissed. I'm like, hey, don't be too pissed about it. We've experienced a lot of issues during the early access, so yeah, it's going to be a fun trip for you all. But it's still a fun game. I still enjoy playing it. And I got one or two articles left before I close it out. I don't want to go too long. I may cover this next time for a Red Dead Redemption episode for Red Dead Online. Let's go ahead and close off Sony's big announcement for this week. This came all of a sudden. Stem cell, yeah. Let's stem cell research for PUBG. This came as a big announcement this week, this past Tuesday, and it caught me off guard. It caught me by surprise. PlayStation Classic Mini features 20 PS1 games Pre-orders are live. Oh god, and this is coming out. Sony is definitely doing this. It's 45% smaller than the original, with Nintendo enjoying the success in the field, which is with the NES Classic Mini and the SNES Classic Mini. Sony has announced its own mini classic console. The company has announced the PlayStation Classic, a mini version of the original PlayStation. It comes with a 20 generation-defining games, and it will launch in December. It's available for pre-order now. A complete list of games have not been announced yet. So far, the PlayStation blog has only confirmed 5 titles: Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. There's no indication on what genres or companies will be representing the remaining 15. So far, that should be just enough excitement for you if you're into those games, especially Final Fantasy VII, which, was a big, groundbreaking game for the PlayStation, along with Tekken 3, which is one of the best in the entire series. PlayStation Classic arrives on December 3rd, and that's a notable date. It's the day the original PlayStation launched in 1994. The mini version is 45% smaller than the original PlayStation, and as you can see in the video, it captures the look of the system based on, including its controllers. It comes with an HDMI cable, a USB cable to power it. The AC adapter is sold separately. I'll get to that in a second. And it has 2 controllers. The system will cost $100 US, 130 CAD, and 9,980 yen. You can pre-order it now. It's no surprise that Sony is getting into the classic category of plug-and-play mini retro. Nintendo is currently dominating the market in overall sales, with the plug-and-play consoles are up to 400% to date in US. With Nintendo leading the way with its NES and SNES classic devices, Sony wants a piece of the category. In other retro news, Sega has announced its own Sega Genesis Mini that has been delayed from 2018 to 2019. So all these retro classic consoles are coming out all at once. God damn. And even as of today, they said that it's possible we could see the Nintendo 64 Classic come out either this holiday season or early next year. God damn, people are. It's getting out of hand. I mean, it's cool that you're seeing all these classic games coming back in that style. Me personally, I'd rather have the actual console, the actual full-on console with interchangeable controllers. Even if I need a new controller, I could buy one online, rather than one with this little mini-ass port, and it's probably got like a fucking 3-foot cable and shit. So yeah, my one minor complaint about this compilation console, I call it, it has a USB cable to power it. The AC adapter is sold separately. How are you going to sell? Okay, Sony, I know your marketing strategies are fucked. Alright, you completely fuck yourselves in the ass when it comes to the marketing. How can you fuck something up like this, Sony? How can you sell a compilation plug-and-play console like this without a power adapter? The power adapter is sold separately. How can you sell an electronic piece of equipment without an AC adapter? That makes no sense. You get a USB cable to power it. Yeah, hope you got a cell phone charging box for it. Other than that, you're not going to be able to play this motherfucker when it first comes out. What are you going to plug it into? Are you going to plug it into your computer to give it power? Are you going to plug it into your Xbox, turn the Xbox on to power up the USB port just to play the son of a bitch? That is the one minor complaint I have about it, that not a lot of people see fit, but they will when the console comes out December 3rd, is that this thing does not have a power adapter. You'll pull it out, be ready to play it. Oh, good, 20 games. I just paid $100 for this motherfucker. It's worth it. These games themselves, they cost a lot of money. Like Final Fantasy VII right now, you can get that for like $30 or $40 on Amazon or some shit, you know? 20 games, plus the mini console, maybe 2 controllers if it comes with 2 controllers. $100, not a bad deal. The SNES Classic was like $80 itself. But you're going to sell a $100 product to people who want to buy it. And you don't have the power adapter included. What the hell's wrong with you, Sony? You subtracted the AC adapter from it. Can you imagine kids getting this shit on Christmas morning? Like, okay, what is this, Daddy? Daddy used to play that when he was a kid. He got a lot of good games on that, son. Okay, so you hook it up to the TV and you're like, Daddy, it's not turning on. Oh, did you plug in the AC adapter? What's that? The thing that... Oh, it's not here. What the fuck? What are you doing, Sony? You're packaging a product, but you don't have a piece of the product that powers the fucking console. How are you supposed to turn it on? Now, I know nowadays people have cell phone chargers that come with that little USB box and you can plug any plug into it and shit and plug it into the wall. I'm guessing that's what they expect you to do. But what if a household buys this product and they don't have a cell phone charger like that? You expect them to go out and pay another $20 for a fucking USB plug, for a fucking charger plug like that? I don't know what to say anymore. All I can say is, what the fuck are y'all doing? Your marketing is completely terrible right now. Like, I know you're trying to get it to where you're trying to get into that mode where you want to be just as good or better than Microsoft and Nintendo, but your marketing strategies are terrible, Sony. What are you doing? Oh my god. Anyway, guys, we're running about an hour and a half in. I'm going to go ahead and close it off. Got your news for today. That's a lot of articles I had to cover. I had some more. Cover them in the next episode. Might cover that next Friday. Return tuning live 2 Fridays as well. Today was Saturday. Yeah, it was one of those off days. I had some time to do it. Plus, I got me a new pop filter for my mic, so hopefully I came in a little bit more crisper for you guys. I don't know. I really don't know a whole lot about how these pop filters work, but hopefully it was a little bit more crisper, a little bit more clear. Paid $20 for this thing. You know, these things are expensive, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me, my main man Wolf. You know, I will see you in 2 weeks physically. We'll be playing some games, playing some Magic the Gathering, stuff like that. Graves of Rock. Thank you for coming and checking us out today, man, also. And to my main man, another one of my main men, Cypher Xavier, thank you for joining in today, buddy. We gotta get you back into streaming, man. Plus, we gotta get you into playing some PUBG with us here soon on Xbox. I know you got it. We gotta be playing it here soon. To everybody else checking out this stream, thank you for coming in, checking us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ArrowOfficial17 for updates on when we're going to be streaming and what we're going to be streaming next. Also, you can find us on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, check us out, Arrow with a Name. You'll be able to find us real easily. Also, this stream will be re-uploaded to our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. Be sure to subscribe to us over there. Also, if you want to help support us for a month, well, if you want to help support us for $1 a month, I should say, hop on over to patreon.com/Arrow, WAN. All the links for these web pages are found below the stream. Just click on one of the links. Be sure to follow us, and we'll catch you guys next time. Y'all enjoy your evening. We're out. Have a good one.